think we can all agree on as an anime community is that right now, Demon Slayer rules the fucking planet. This is easily the biggest anime in the world that has actually reached such a level of mainstream success that I can walk into places like Target and Walmart, the most normie places on the planet, and see Demon Slayer merch. This is something that when I first started noticing this, I thought was surreal, unbelievable. Just like a general, just like midlife crisis as I realized, holy shit, I'm getting old. Because I remember as a kid, if I brought up something like Inuyasha or Yu Yu Hakusho to somebody, I'm pretty certain they wanted to just send me to church and have me be saved by the priest. That's right. This is how our society has changed. And be happy about it. Because it means that as anime fans, everything is now more mainstream and you have less a chance of dying alone because people will know what you're talking about. However, with the increase in popularity of certain shows like your Demon Slayers, your My Hero Academias, your Jujutsu Kaisens, we also then open the door to certain problems. And in this particular circumstance, I'm talking about a lot of people not being okay with just certain things of Japan's culture's past. It's not even a modern thing. It's a thing in a period piece show, for Christ's sake. But yeah, when Demon Slayer Entertainment District arc started, and we were introduced to the Hashira of this arc, a Mr. Tengen, we found out he had 3 wives. Yup, polygamy is now a thing here. That was a theme for this arc. Tengen just has 3 wives. And people weren't okay with this, because no one can ever just accept or be happy about anything in life. They were quite mad at this, and to be fair, if you see the designs of the women, in particular in the chest area, you can kind of maybe understand why, and it is understandable why some people wouldn't be comfortable with this kind of concept. However, people definitely kind of went a little extreme with it. Though thankfully, it did peter out and kind of disappear about halfway through the season, and everyone was able to enjoy it. But, my humble viewers, I am here to tell you something today. What if I were to tell you all, most people missed the point of Tengen having 3 wives? What if everyone started having the right reaction, but then took it too far? And then, when they were done taking it too far, they forgot what the point of it was in the first place. Well, my humble viewers, that is what I am here to explain to you today. Because you were supposed to get annoyed that Tengen had 3 wives. You weren't really supposed to be okay with it. But that was the point. And that is what led into Tengen's story arc, which I thought was done very well. Is it the greatest story arc in anime history? Oh god, no. But for this kind of show, and for what they were dealing with, I think they actually did a good job. And I feel that if you were one of those people who got mad and then wanted to boycott the show, or said it should be canceled, or whatever the fuck, I think you owed it to the show to give it a chance and see where it was going with this. And that is what we are here to talk about today. How Demon Slayer made a jerk character work. And for that, we must start off at the beginning. And by beginning, I mean the Mugen Train arc. And because for the television version of the Mugen Train arc, they did 2 very smart decisions. The first is that the first episode was a wholly original story about Rengoku just going on an adventure and then getting to the train. Then at the end of it, we basically get this big conclusion and this very just sad epilogue as we see how everyone deals with the loss of Rengoku. Why Rengoku? Because, well, Rengoku was the best of anyone. That was the point. He was the ultimate virtuous, moral hero who put everyone first and genuinely believed in his war against the demons. He was meant to be the best of us. And now the best of us is gone. So how do we move on from that? How do our heroes go forward when they know that you can just end up taking all your morals and good values to the grave with you? Well, as we find out, it can be very fucking hard, because when the next person you meet is just this asshole who's trying to kidnap nurses to help him on this crazy ass mission, and we see that he's very rude to them and like slaps one of their butts and is then real mean to our main characters, you suddenly start to feel just that kind of feeling of like kind of hopelessness. Like, not only did we lose the best of this, we're then stuck with this asshole. Then, when they get to the red light district, which, let's assume you all know what's really going on here. It's not just about entertaining men, if you know what I mean. But when they get to the entertainment district, they realize he's really gets even worse the more they spend around him. He's loud, he's obnoxious, he's bossy, he's trying to sell them as frickin' prostitutes, go through all this shit. He's just this loud, obnoxious person. And so, yeah, again, that feeling of just like hopelessness and the loss of Rengoku continues to affect the story as like things just kind of keep getting worse for our heroes. But then we start to realize some things. Yes, Tengen has 3 wives, and there are many kind of awkward implications with this kind of things, especially in those chest regions. But we learn that he does care about them. They're more than just like sex toys for him. He genuinely is like concerned and is going after them. And part of the reason he is so mean and rude to everyone is because without them, he starts regressing. And for me to make that statement, obviously that means that they go into his backstory a bit. We learn that he hasn't had the easiest time. He hasn't had like the nicest life, and it kind of made him into an asshole. But then when he gets his wives, we see that from just immediately, he kind of wants to start being a bit of a better person for them. I really like the flashback where he ultimately tells them to like put their own lives first and to value themselves. It's a really good scene because not only is that when we really start to get the idea of the heart of Tengen, it's also just really well directed. I love how awkward Tengen kind of shuffles about. I love how kind of hard it is for him to talk about this kind of thing. Like, you genuinely believe this is a guy who has never really had to kind of care for people like this before, and he wants to rise to the occasion for them. There's a reason for why he is the way he is, and there's a reason why he's trying to change. That is the point of a character arc. Because, well, that's what he's going through. That's what the story was trying to tell you. And I think it plays to the bigger point of Demon Slayer as a whole. Something I've noticed is that the big theme of this show is the idea of, like, learning to value people and how that then affects you as you go. Rather, it's Zenitsu learning to get more braver, or Inosuke learning to become more kind and nice to people, or even Tanjiro just trying to just keep the little bit of family he has left alive. It always feels like people are learning more about each other, and they're always kind of like bonding and being better for it. This is a big contrast to the demons who only think in terms of destruction. They don't value other people. They barely value each other and sometimes barely value themselves. Everything is just about power and control and just hurting other people. And while it's simplistic, it gets across the meaning of the story very well. It is the ultimate war of people who care about each other versus a people who don't. And I think that was very well represented through Tengen's arc. And where it all goes, which I won't completely spoil here, because I won't really talk about stuff in the first 2 episodes, I think kind of solidifies that. You were never really meant to like this guy in the first place. And if you still didn't by the end, I think that's totally reasonable and a good argument could be made for that. To be honest, I don't really like the Hashira as a whole. As something I liked about Demon Slayer, and as opposed to a lot of modern shonen, is there weren't just a million characters right at the spot so they could find someone you can make a lot of money out of. But then they just went ahead and just introduced like all these Hashira and then immediately started making fucking merch out of them. But I think in terms of how the Hashira have been used, I think so far they've been used very intelligently. Will that continue? Well, we'll see when the next season starts. Apparently everyone's already pissed off over one bath season. Again, y'all gotta really understand, Japan is a little bit different, and if one bath scene's gonna bother you, should probably avoid World's End Harem. But anyways, yeah. As far as problems with this arc goes, because I always talk about stuff like that, there's probably a little too much humor at the beginning. I definitely think that kind of led to the problems with Tengen when all of it was being played as a joke. I think the arc itself goes a little slow at first. I definitely think we spent a little too much time in the brothels. Then the big battle itself, I think, definitely had a bit of a problem of just kind of going on and on and on. And I know that's a big aspect of Demon Slayer, is just like the grueling relentlessness of the fights, and it's obviously one of the show's most popular aspects, but I think it just kind of gets overdone after a certain point. Like, a whole fucking town just blew up. What happens next? Also, I think Nezuko, even though she's like the most popular waifu on the planet, is a very half-handled character who hasn't, they've done a lot within what they little they have done has not been very interesting. But yeah, no, those are my thoughts on Demon Slayer Entertainment District arc, and particularly Tengen in general, and how, again, it's okay not to like him. But if you've liked a show up to a certain point, I think you owe it to see that if it will do something right. But yeah, give me your thoughts about this arc in the comment section below. Are you excited for what comes next? Tell me what you're watching now or other anime you'd like for me to talk about. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next time for who knows what other crazy stuff the anime world has for us.